Hello, and welcome to another jam packed episode of My Favorite Conservative. I am Edward.
And I am Andrea, but I am not conservative.
What, you're not?
I am not, but he is my favorite conservative.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. What are we going to talk about today, Edward?
Oh, goodness. We have a good ones for, I guess, our fans and our haters today.
We do. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing.
Yes.
We are not live. We pre-recorded this just for y'all. So for our fans and haters.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. I'm on pens and needles. Please tell us.
Well, first off, it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, yes.
Or it's Monday when you're watching this. So you already know who won the game. I do not. So go my team.
All right. Okay, yeah. I don't care about Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay.
All right. So tell us what today's topic is about.
Well, we are going to look at the left, shocker, and their propensity for taking everything to the extreme.
Okay. So no more Bill Clinton 1990s. And what is this word you wrote for me? Incrementalism.
Yes.
Really?
That's
Such
impressive.
That's such bullshit jargon. It is just.
But that's exactly what it is.
I don't care, but
Okay.
that's just bullshit jargon. So basically, Bill Clinton now would be seen as definitely a moderate, doing one thing at a time.
Correct. Little victories. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And I voted for Bill Clinton. He was actually the first president I was able to vote for. I was 20 when he was elected. And Edward, thank you for this next line. I remember Bill Clinton and Dick Morris and his triangulation strategy. I don't remember that shit.
You don't?
No, I was in my 20s and I was raising a young child.
Oh.
I don't know. All I remember about Dick Morris was his staking his reputation on the election and getting it wrong and then disappearing from public life.
Well, a lot of people remember Dick Morris because he had a propensity to suck women's toes. While on the phone with the president.
Oh, interesting. Actually, what I do remember about that time in the 90s is how much Bill Clinton governed by polls.
Yeah, well, Dick Morris was his go-to confidant guy that basically got him elected, and they were joined at the hip.
Okay,
but yeah, that was his strategy, basically the triangulation strategy to get reelected in 96 after the Republicans took the majority in 1994. After 40 years out in the wilderness, they had no power for 40 years. They took it in 1994. Bill Clinton knew that he had no chance of getting his far left agenda passed. And so he kind of gravitated toward the center.
And this was after he had already tried to get healthcare passed with Hillary.
Yes, he decided to put his lovely bride in charge of the
first lady at the time.
Yes.
And I remember that failing spectacularly just because she wouldn't let anybody else at the table.
No, and you're trying to basically reconfigure 30% of the economy.
So yeah,
might want to get some input from other people.
Okay, so as Clinton, he kind of co-opted both left and right policies.
Yeah,
is that what he was doing?
Yeah, he did this "I'm above the fray" kind of thing. So he took that thing. I mean, he just decided he's going to take little victory after little victory.
I think that was smart.
Well, he had patience.
Yes,
he did.
Yeah, I think that was really smart. All right.
He had. Well, let me say this: he had patience, unlike today's left. The left wants everything now, right?
Yes. Well, and again, I would love to know, and you call them the left, and I don't like that terminology per se, but I would love to know the people who are so far left, what they would think about Bill Clinton today, because I mean, he's practically conservative compared to some of the policies.
Oh yeah. And I think this iteration of leftism basically started with Barack Obama. Where what was it? We are a few days from fundamentally changing the United States of America. Well, that's not necessarily a good thing. So
okay, well let's. I know you have some issues here.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to just pick out a few issues, and show how far the left decides they want to go. So if God willing, we get these people out of power in the next election, that they never come back into power for many, many moons. So and it is by no means a complete list at all.
Yes. So we would love to hear from you if you have more examples. Even though this is pre-recorded, you can always reach us at myfavoriteconservative.show. and tell us how you feel about this episode in your comments. So let's, again, our not complete list. Let's start with a couple of things.
Yeah, and not even in any particular
No.
order or anything, just random things. Let's talk about...
I want to announce them.
Oh, please do.
Statues.
Yes. Not statutes. Statues.
What about statues?
Well, you remember summer of 2020, George Floyd,
of course,
riots, and it was the very in thing to start tearing down Civil War statues.
Yes.
Right? Because they were bad people.
And I would just want to say, when we erase history, we don't learn from history. Correct. So taking down those statues is not going to teach future generations and right any wrongs.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. But that has gone even further now.
It has. And in fact, it was predicted by at that time, President of the United States, Donald John Trump, where he said pretty soon they'll be tearing down statues of the founding fathers. And that's exactly what they're doing. Removing, the New York City removed the statue of Thomas Jefferson from their steps. Now, what I find quite ironic is a lot of people credit Jefferson with the founding of the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
The guy that wrote the Constitution, and it's insane. They just can't settle for getting. I can understand Civil War generals. I understand that because it was a war. We fought.
I don't actually disagree with you.
But I can see their reasoning for
yes,
it.
But if you want to learn from history, you can't erase it.
No, I completely agree with that.
So
but again, let's just keep taking it farther and farther away. There was actually a kind of an interesting example, I think it was maybe a week or two ago, in Pennsylvania, named after William Penn.
Mm-hmm.
And they said they were going to remove his statue.
What did he do?
He's old white guy.
Okay.
Bad. They were going to remove him from a national archive or some national forest or something like that. And people started really complaining, and they said, yeah, you know what? Maybe that's not such a good idea. So William Penn gets to stay in Pennsylvania.
All right.
So,
next up, abortion.
It's funny. I don't really have an opinion on abortion. Oh,
come on.
Okay.
You're so full of it. Okay. Talk about it the way it used to be.
Well,
at least
let's go back to, since we talked about Bill Clinton earlier, his tagline was safe, legal, and rare.
And that's, I'm very much pro-choice, and that's where I fell into it.
Yeah.
Safe, legal, and rare.
Now,
I never, hold on.
Do.
All right. Thank you. All right. I never wanted to personally be in a position to have to make that choice. So I went sort of above and beyond with birth control and contraception, but I always supported a woman's right to choose. But again, safe, legal, rare. Abortion should not be a form of birth control, for example. And then it really changed, and not even in the 90s.
Well, let's look at backtrack
changed.
just a hair. Safe, yes. Legal, okay, it's still legal, right? Rare. That was a Bill Clinton platitude to the women out there that, we're just, to the right out there that, we're going to allow abortion, but gosh, we just want it to be incredibly rare. Well, the numbers, since the 90s just went through the roof.
Yes, but it was usually during the first trimester.
Correct. Yes.
Let's talk about where it is
we
now.
As a society kind of agreed that, perhaps, we shouldn't do it past a certain number of weeks.
Right, past the first trimester.
However, nowadays, we are more up into basically you can hear the baby crying inside the womb.
That's only in certain states.
Yeah, but if the left had their way, it would be abortion at any time.
And I disagree with that strongly.
There are numerous clips that you can play that show Democrat leaders all talking about up to birth.
I wish we had those clips, but our show's not quite there yet. But okay, I still support. I'm still pro-choice. I still support a woman's right to choose. I do think it should be limited to the first trimester, or unless the health of the mother.
You're just a hater. Wow.
Yeah, I know. All right, next up, and this is one I think that affects everybody, everybody in some way, shape, or form. Shoplifting.
Shoplifting.
Yes.
Remember, when you were a kid, maybe not me, of course.
I'll talk about it. I shoplifted once.
Did you really?
I did.
What'd you steal?
I stole some gum.
Gum. There you go.
And I
The old
felt
standby.
so guilty. And this was like 10 cents
Okay.
worth of gum. I felt so guilty. I took the gum back. Like I had this extreme.
Had you already chewed it?
No.
Okay, just checking.
No. And of course, the store owner were so nice. And he knew me. I came in there all the time. This was back in the day when you got to just, ride your bike and disappear all day on Saturday and your parents didn't know where you were. So, no, I shoplifted once and I felt so guilty. I gave it back.
Yep. So we've gone from shoplifting to basically a slap on the wrist, maybe a fine or whatever, to now plundering anything you want at any time you want.
Again, depending on the state. But explain why people are able to do that now in some states, like California, for example.
Oh, because of the left.
Well, no, okay. Dive deeper, please. Okay.
That was too easy.
So, yes. Okay. So, I think this is true in California, New York, several states where you can shoplift. And I think they even use that terminology. You can take, without paying, up to $999 worth of stuff. Literally just walk out of the store. I've watched people do it when I visit California, and you don't have to pay. And the security, if there is security, they can't stop you. The employees can't stop you. In fact, they stay out of your way because they're scared.
They will be fired if they interfere.
Yes.
Yes.
So we, like you said, we've gone from some minor charges and you get bail for shoplifting to just, people go in and just wipe out the stores. And what are the results of this?
Well, obviously, stores cannot continue to lose thousands of dollars a day, and they are closing. You're seeing, and they're closing in the communities that need them the most. Yes,
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got CVS, Walgreens closing locations in Boston.
Yep.
And the poor normal people that live there are paying the price for this.
Yes.
Where are you going to go to get your prescriptions filled now? How far do you have to move, go to? And it's insane. It is. I understand possibly some prosecutors or things got overzealous and overcharged people, but the answer is not to make it basically legal up to almost $1,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the funny story, did you hear the other day when Gavin Newsom was in a Costco maybe or something?
No.
Where was he?
Yeah, I think he was
Target. He was in Target, and some guy was stealing and just walking out of the door. And he couldn't believe it. And he's like, what's going on? Why didn't anybody stop him? And the cashier says,
go ahead.
He says, it's the governor. He won't let us. They can steal whatever they want. The governor says so. Not realizing he was the governor. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know which is worse. I don't care that she didn't realize he was the governor, but he knows his own policies.
Yes.
He knows them.
Yes.
He's so full of shit.
Gavin Newsom is the biggest bullshitter in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Without question.
Yeah.
Without question.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you think Trump lays it on? No.
Yeah. Okay. So that leads us actually right into from shoplifting. And I want to say one other thing about this before we go in the next one, but they all connect, is even before they were closing a lot of these stores, the Walgreens, the CVS, the Rite Aids, they were locking everything up. It used to be they just would lock up perfume, cologne, and if they had any expensive jewelry, which usually they didn't, but they were locking everything up. So if you wanted to get, nail clippers, you had to go get somebody to open it for you. It was so tedious.
Just think of the money that they lose on impulse items. How many times do you go into a store and you're standing in line to check out and you see something, you grab it, right? That's an impulse item that's right by the cashier or whatever. Everything's locked up now. Their sales are going down just from those things.
Yeah. That's
and I don't know about you, but going into a store, trying to find somebody to unlock, so you can get a tube of toothpaste it's
not worth it. Yeah.
Thank you, left.
Okay. All right. So that leads us right into bail reform.
Yeah. I guess that kind of coattails on there. Yeah. It used to be, there was a problem of prosecutors overcharging, especially minority communities, getting them locked up easier. And, you can't do that. But the answer is not no bail for everybody, basically, right? Even violent crimes, carjackings, that sort of stuff, where people get zero bail time, or they don't have to post any bail.
Yeah, and if you know that you don't have to post bail, aren't you more likely to commit the crime?
Oh,
my God.
There's so many examples of people just in and out, in and out, in
I
and
know.
out. And they just know it. And they say, well, I'll just go commit another crime. And
Now this is, we are pre-recording this, as we mentioned. So this is airing on Super Bowl Sunday. But wasn't there just about a week ago, so about 2 weeks from the time this goes live, an incident in New York City with police officers?
Yeah, there were 2 New York police officers that were beaten by a group of 10 or 12 illegal aliens. Not afraid to call them. They're not migrants. They're illegal aliens. Beaten, kicked, punched while they're on the ground. They arrest, I think, 4 or 6 of them, and they and the perpetrators walk out.
Yes.
No bail, and flip the bird.
Yes.
To the cameras out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you so much, New York. Thank you for standing by your police officers. My God, how do you expect to have police officers if you don't back them the fuck up?
Well, the most ironic thing is the mayor, Eric Adams.
I know. Go ahead and say
is a former. He went right from the New York PD to the mayor's office.
I just like, can you imagine? I wouldn't want to be a police officer.
No.
Yeah.
And you leftists out there that, support this no bail thing. Please let us know how this is even conceivable.
Yeah. Okay. Next topic that the left takes too far: homelessness.
Again, we can go back to California and New York.
Well, let's go back to where it was.
Wherever.
Go from
Well, what was homelessness before? But there were shelters.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. There's a big shelter in downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah. Shelters where they got their 3 squares and a cot and
yes, place to sleep and
yes. But it's kind of morphed a little bit out of that.
Yes.
Do you want to handle that? Or?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's gone from, but the argument's going to be that there aren't enough shelters. But anyway, it's gone from taking the homeless, putting them in shelters, finding them a place to sleep, to allowing, because in the past it wasn't really allowed, to allow them to camp out in these tents wherever they like. Yes. And so now, especially when I go back and visit Los Angeles, I go back once a year, and every year it's worse. Every year there are more and more encampments. Thank you. I gave you say it. There are more tents everywhere, and there are more of these in neighborhoods that you would never have seen this before, ever. And it's really scary. And actually, I totally forgot about this, but about a year ago when I was in Chicago, I was with a young colleague, much younger than me, and an Uber driver dropped us off in the middle of one of these homelessness areas. And it was super dangerous and scary. Yeah. And we were a 10-minute walk from where we were actually supposed to be. I mean, it was really, really frightening.
Yeah. These homeless encampments now are open air drug dens. Yeah. Right. Everybody's dealing drugs. The sanitary conditions are unbelievably bad.
Yeah, they're not sanitary.
People just go to the bathroom anywhere they want. They're driving businesses out.
Yep.
When you allow this, when you encourage this, you're going to get more of it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And there are so many of these homeless people. I know there's always stories, sad stories, people, down on their luck, that sort of thing. But there are now almost professional homeless people because they realize, man, we can do whatever we want. We're going to get our meals if we need them. We can just go over here and we can camp anywhere we want. And yeah,
I'm going to add something here. It might make me a little emotional, but there was a time where I was almost homeless.
Okay.
And I had gotten evicted. I was raising my sister. She was 10 at the time, and she just turned 10, and I was 24. I was really sick. I'd just been diagnosed with a very serious thyroid disease that required radiation. I had no money. I was dirt poor. I had no idea where we were going to live. I really didn't. And I was looking at like pay by the day motels, and they were scary. And this was in the 90s. They're so much worse now. But I was determined to figure it out and find a place to live. And I got really, really lucky. I got really lucky. The right person, the right time said, you can get an apartment here for cheap. And and it worked out, it did, but it was a really scary time. I thought that we were going to end up on the streets. I didn't know where we were going to go. And so I've been this close.
Yeah, but you have a good head on your shoulders. You are not addicted to drugs.
That's right.
And that is a major, major difference in what's going on nowadays, because basically these places are for drug addicts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting if you look at, I was just listening, maybe we'll put a link in the show notes to Dr. Drew Pensky, doing an interview with Dave Rubin. And I kind of disagree with them, but I mean, he feels like people who have mental health issues, especially if they're homeless, should be forced to take their medication and put into mental health clinics. And I have mixed feelings about that. That's a whole nother show, forcing people to do something they don't want to do. But he does have a point.
Okay.
All right. So, next one's a good one. Trans drag shows. Let's talk about them.
Yes. What used to be adult entertainment.
100%.
What a great movie The Birdcage was.
Yeah.
It is still. I watched it not too long ago because it's just so funny.
And
but
also
it's adult entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, one of the first times I visited San Francisco on my own, shout out to one of my best friends, Tony. He took me to a drag show. We had a blast. And yes, you had to be 21 or older to get in. Yeah, wow. You did. And it was great. I mean, except for the really sloppy kiss I got from the performer. Unwanted, by the way, totally unwanted. But it was fun and it was for adults. But that has changed.
It has, just a little bit. Yeah, now we have drag show story time hours for children.
Yeah.
Watching men pretending to be women dressed in their sleaziest possible outfits.
Yeah,
many of them.
Because the whole idea of a drag show is to be extreme. Yeah.
Well, you can be extreme without being grotesque and vulgar.
Well, I think your point
extreme
is
and
it's
vulgar
not,
aren't necessarily
it's not for
the same
children.
Thing. Correct.
Okay.
It is correct. And so for all you leftists out there who really support trans shows for kids, please let me know why.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know why. And if you run a public library, why would you allow this for children? It belongs in a nightclub, and there's nothing. It's great. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yes. There are people teachers and volunteers that can actually read, and they can read to these kids.
Oh, so you're saying it doesn't have to be somebody in drag?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So, it's crazy.
Okay. Moving on. Maybe this topic should have been with the other stuff, but same thing. Sanctuary cities / states.
Yeah. From what was, hey, we feel, we want to show that we care and we want to welcome some people.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. We want to be a welcoming community to the illegals that are here.
And let's be clear. I think most people know a sanctuary city allows illegal immigrants into their city, despite what the federal government says.
Correct.
Yes. And typically sanctuary cities, again, were kind of what you would expect: Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York.
Yeah. And one of the hallmarks of the sanctuary city is if you, as an illegal, were charged with a crime and you were let out of jail, they would not turn you over to ICE.
That's right. I forgot about that. It's very important.
Yes.
But what does that become?
Well, now it's just it's a shite show. It is indeed.
I think you just need to say the word.
It's these cities are being overrun by thousands and thousands of illegal immigrants coming here. Some have been bussed here from Texas.
Yeah, Texas got sick of this shit.
Yeah.
And started sending people to other states because they wanted other states to feel the pain.
Well, when these cities in certain states decided to become sanctuaries, they never envisioned that Texas wasn't going to handle all the immigrants,
I know, right?
Or Arizona or New Mexico or California. That they just thought, well, we'll just virtue signal. This will be fine.
Yeah.
Because we're good people.
Okay.
Enjoy your cities now.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't live in Los Angeles anymore. All right, next one. I think this is an interesting topic too. Affirmative action.
Yeah.
So what was talk about the origin? I think most people know.
What started as a somewhat good idea of helping minorities get a leg up in terms of trying to catch up, if you will, in terms of education and job careers
And
and
to make
things
it
like that.
fairer.
A little more fair playing field.
Yes.
Correct.
And what has that turned into?
Oh, goodness. Let's go DEI, right? Where it's not equality anymore. Used to be equality. We all wanted equality among people, but now it is equity.
Okay, actually, since my father recently told me he had never even heard this term, he's retired. Say what DEI means.
Well, it is
diversity,
equity, and
inclusion.
inclusion. Yes.
And what has that led to?
Well, it has led to reverse racism.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you can't fight racism by being racist.
Yes. And Mark Cuban just got in trouble for this. He just got called out for this because he was touting how they use DEI and they use that in their hiring practices. Now, clearly they don't on the Mavericks basketball team, but he was talking about in his other businesses, and he was called out. Tell us more.
Well, he was touting. I use the term virtue signaling.
Yes.
Because, we all want to be loved. But Elon Musk, who's slightly richer than Mark Cuban, just a little, called him out and, said that fighting racism with more racism is not the answer. And in fact,
it's also illegal. Like what he was saying was
the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission,
said
the president or the chairman of that commission came out and
said it was illegal.
Said, yeah, Mark Cuban, you're actually breaking the law here.
Yes.
And Cuban's trying to backtrack and double speak over it. But yes.
And if he was really, just gonna interrupt, if he was really for DEI, we would see more white players in the Mavericks, more Asian players on the Mavericks, right? If it's going to be equity, it wouldn't be who's the best basketball player anymore. It would be, we're going to make sure everybody is there. Everybody's represented.
And I think just to look at it from the simplest forms is equality is equal opportunity and equity is equal outcomes.
Yes.
And people are different.
Yes.
You cannot legislate outcomes.
No, you can't.
You can't, because some people are more driven than others. Others don't care. So, yes, let's move along.
Okay. The next one really pisses me off. I'm just saying. The $15 minimum wage.
And that's kind of antiquated now.
Well, I just want to say this pisses me off because when I started working in high school, I actually made more babysitting, but when I started working for other people at a restaurant, my minimum wage was $3.50 an hour. And in 1 year, I got a raise to $3.60 an hour.
Ooh, where'd you spend it?
I know, right? Goodness. And adjusted for inflation, that's about $8.80 an hour today. And now we're up to a $15 minimum wage. And talk a little bit about where that came from.
Well, this is kind of the Bernie Sanders
for sure.
mode of, we need a livable wage. We have to have a livable wage.
That's a good impersonation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's also my Joey Bishop. They sound the same for you old timers out there. You know who Joey Bishop was.
Okay. All right. But what is this doing to businesses?
Well, a great example is in California. Just maybe a month or two ago, Pizza Hut and Domino's laid off 12,000 delivery drivers.
It's crazy, yeah.
Because they cannot afford to pay them. It's up to like $20 an hour now.
They can't afford to pay them a livable wage.
Correct. And so the people that are now ordering pizzas are having to pay DoorDash and whatever else, whoever delivers. So their price of pizza just went up, the cost of delivery, because it was included in the pizzas, from Domino's and Pizza Hut. But yes.
Well, and I just want to say, as an employer who has some employees, this has personally affected me because California has a law in place about salaried employees and how it has to be 2.5 times their minimum wage. And so as an employer, I had to make a very tough decision. I really wanted my employees to be salary, but instead they have to be hourly because we can't meet that minimum standard that California has set. And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, California thinks they can bully the country, and on certain things they can.
No,
unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Next up, Sorry for those watching. I have a hair in my mouth thanks to our cat in my lap. I just do. It's going to bother me. I'm going to do the whole share thing for a while here. Okay. All right. Next up, because a lot of people are just listening, not watching. Interesting that you put this one here. 15 days to flatten the curve.
I put 15 days to flatten the curve in because of just showing overreach.
Okay.
How taking something to an extreme. Remember, Dr. Fauci, right? Dr. Fauci. We need
more of Edward's impersonations because he's actually very good at most of them.
So, but yeah, so all we need is 15 days.
2 weeks.
It'll just flatten right out after that, and we can go back to our normal lives. Yeah, how'd that work out for everybody out there? And it was way worse in left-run cities and states.
That's true.
Yeah, without question. You got locked down for what, a year?
Yeah. And I think this has already come out, but again, love Dr. Drew Pensky. I'm just going to tag you, Dr. Drew. But he was talking about they knew within months that the whole idea of 6 feet apart, first of all, it was totally made up. The initial suggestion, I don't know if you knew this part, the initial suggestion, I don't know if this was by the WHO or the CDC, was a minimum, because they knew it was airborne, it would have to be 10 to 30 feet. And they decided, some government, probably our government, or who knows, said nobody is actually going to do 10 to 30 feet. That's unrealistic. Why don't we just say 6? They totally made it up. So all those people who yelled at other people and got mad because you wouldn't be 6 feet apart, blah, blah, blah. It didn't make a difference, guys. It made zero difference.
Yeah, can you imagine if it was 30 feet and you're standing in line at the pharmacy?
Yeah.
There's 4 of you and you're already out the door, right?
Well, they made us wait outside at Costco. I remember that. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. It's just okay. All right.
Let's wrap this up with
January 6th.
January 6th.
All right.
That's January 6th is the Pavlovian response that they get, whenever that's mentioned, it's start howling at the moon. So, and the reason I put this in here is it went from a bad day, no question, a riot, no question about that, to this Joseph Stalin-like trials that they put on TV.
Yeah.
And they just won't let it go. They still won't today. And we're 3 years later.
And we still have several Americans that are in jail.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Dozens and dozens and dozens. And they just announced last month that they're going to go after at least 1,000 more people who were in the area. They didn't go in or anything. Again, this is a pure leftist move, and it has to stop.
Yeah, I'm just going to put it out there at the risk of, just who knows what the haters are going to do. But tell me the difference between the George Floyd riots and those were okay in January 6th. Tell me the difference, really, in terms of the rioting. Tell me, yes. Why was one allowed and one wasn't?
Yes, one caused billions in damage.
Yes.
And took many, many lives.
Yes.
The only person killed on January 6th was actually Ashley Babbitt, a very small woman.
Yes.
So, yeah. But so those are just a few of the things we'd love. If you have any other examples, I always love to, read and think about these things. So please send them in.
Okay. And I think this goes back to my frustration as a former Democrat and back to being an independent. I just feel like my position did not change. My position on abortion has not changed. My position on any of this stuff has not changed. The party changed, and I feel very left behind.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not the only one, and I just don't understand how other disaffected, I think that's the word I'm looking for, liberals, to use your term, I don't know how they can stand by and still vote for Democrats. Well,
I think the thing that frightens me the most is how far more left can you go?
Yeah.
I don't even want to put that out there.
Yeah, don't. Yeah. But yeah, they're making Bernie Sanders look moderate now. So
yeah. He's going to be considered a conservative firebrand. Right?
All right, on to a happier topic.
Okay.
This week in woke, which was, again, by the time you're listening to this, was probably a few weeks ago, but this is a good one. Good one. Tell us what it is, Edward.
Well, this is from our friend Brycida Landaverde. I think I got that name right, at nbcconnecticut.com.
Okay.
Shout out to them.
This is so great.
Headline: Menstrual product dispenser vandalized in Brookfield High School men's bathroom.
All right.
Brookfield is in Connecticut.
All right. Tell us more.
So starting in September, a new state law will require public schools to provide free menstrual products in all gender bathrooms and at least one men's bathroom. Brookfield High School got an early start on the new policy, so they are so excited they put it in early. Now, local and regional boards of education shall provide free menstrual products in women's restrooms, all gender restrooms, and at least one men's rooms for...
Wait, don't mumble that. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. And at least all gender restrooms and at least one men's restroom for 3rd to 12th grade students.
I'll comment on that in a minute. Keep going.
3rd. After the installation of the dispenser last week, it was ripped down off the wall, the Brookfield superintendent said in a statement. The school will continue to follow the law, which mandates where menstruation products are to be located.
Okay, so let me just,
I'm
just going to dive right in. Okay, first of all, 3rd through 12th grade, are you fucking kidding me? Elementary school?
You got 3rd graders having their periods?
I mean, it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. And a lot with actually the rise in obesity, there are more women who are getting their periods earlier. But still, I mean, come on, 3rd grade, no, put those products in junior, and what do they call it now? Senior high? Well, yeah, middle school and high school. So let's start with that. Secondly, men's right restrooms. Are you kidding me? Come on. This goes back to, and we've talked about it a couple of times, basic biology. And so if, let's say, a young woman wants to dress and look and act like a boy, that is fine if that's what she wants to do. Hopefully she's getting some mental health help, but she still is a girl biologically and needs to use a girl's bathroom, and that's where she can get her menstrual products. In a discussion.
I am starting a new campaign.
Yes. Uh-oh.
It's no longer LGBT. It is LGBP.
Yes.
As in pretend.
Oh.
Because you are pretending to be a man or you are pretending to be a woman. Okay.
And what does this say? I mean, come on, Connecticut. And you know what? I'm gonna say, I don't think it said in the article. Do we know who took down the?
Oh yes, the boys.
The boys
tore it down. Yes, the boys tore down the.
All right.
They vandalized it. Yes.
All right. So I want to say, congratulations to those young men. I'm not even going to call you boys. Those young men who realized how ridiculous it was to have that in your bathroom.
And the great part was it only took 20 minutes.
Good.
From the time they put it up. Yeah.
Do it again. And you know what? These people who put these rules and laws in, if you knew anything about women, if you knew anything about periods, you would know that none of us buy stuff from the dispensers in the bathrooms. Ever. We are much more likely to ask the female stranger in the stall next to us for a tampon than we are to purchase something in the bathroom. And I think every woman will back me up on that statement.
Yes. Well, and this goes down to the basic argument of women shouldn't be in men's bathrooms and vice versa.
Yes.
Whatever your biological gender, and there's only 2 of them.
2 sexes.
That's it.
Yep.
You should be in your own bathroom.
Yep.
That's
Agreed.
all I have to say about that.
Okay. Is that your Forrest Gump?
That's my Forrest Gump.
If you want to hear any more impersonations about Edward, let us know. So I do want to throw out 2 things coming up. So we are looking for an unpaid intern to help us with our communications and our social media. And before people start yelling at me about unpaid internships, we're not paid either right now. This is a new show. But if you are interested, just reach out to us at myfavoriteconservative.show and let us know. You do need to be available on Sundays. That's really, really critical. So that's the number 1 thing.
So wait. You're not getting paid?
I am not getting paid. Are you getting paid?
I'm going to remain quiet.
You're not getting paid. I would know. I handle the books.
That's true. Okay.
And also, we want to start doing guest interviews. And what we'll do is we will maybe not do those live. We don't want to scare you off. But if you are an immigrant who came to this country legally and you want to share your story and tell us how you feel about the situation at the border and what's going on, we would love to hear it. So again, if you are a legal immigrant and want to share your story and your family's story, because we know there's a lot of sacrifice involved, please reach out to us, and we would love to have you on the show.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us today. We know it wasn't live. We'll be back live in 2 weeks, and hope you are enjoying, or you enjoyed, your Superbowl Sunday. I have no skin in that game at all because I do not care. But otherwise, we are live most Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when we do stream live, it's on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast, available wherever you're listening to podcasts right now. And soon we'll have our locals community. We're excited to tell you more. So any questions for us, go to myfavoriteconservative.show. That's myfavoriteconservative.show. Anything else, Edward?
Amen, sister.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks so much. Hope you enjoyed your Superbowl Sunday.
Bye.